What's up, inhabitants of Penguin Village? This is your resident Dr. Senbei Norimaki, otherwise known as Dr. Slump, and today I'm here to bring you an episode review of Dragon Ball Z Kai. This time it's going to be episode 120. Man. This episode was absolutely phenomenal from an animation standpoint and from a character development standpoint with Vegeta. And I don't know what to say about this episode, but to say that it is going to definitely be the best episode in Dragon Ball Z Kai, the Buu Saga, but I may even put it as one of the best episodes, if not the best episodes, in Dragon Ball Z Kai history. I really may put it that high because the development and what happens in this episode was absolutely phenomenal. So we jump into the episode continuing from the previous episode, and we see that Vegeta is injured. He's heavily injured, his arm's hurting, and he's having a tough time against Majin Buu already. He's at a huge power gap disadvantage, and now he has to deal with the fact that he's injured. On top of that, things are not looking too good for Vegeta. So we see that he's still trying to confront Majin Buu, but Majin Buu does something very weird. He starts pulling out his belly fat and he starts twirling it around in a long but thick string. And he he attempts to blast Vegeta with a couple of mouth blasts, and Vegeta's able to dodge them rather easily. And once he jumps in the air to dodge another one, Majin Buu throws the belly fat at him and ensnares him and starts to sit on him and pound him repeatedly. And I like this scene. I like this scene. Even though Vegeta's getting the tar beat out of him, and even though Vegeta's one of my favorite characters, I can't help but love Majin Buu's creativity and his abilities as a villain. I mean, I've never seen a villain in Dragon Ball history that can do something like this. That can pull out some of their belly fat and ensnare their opponent with it. That's just hilarious. I've never seen something that's happening like that. And the way he's just smiling while he's beating the tar out of Vegeta is just crazy. And we see on the sidelines that Trunks is very angered with this. And Trunks goes to help. And Piccolo's like, I don't want you to go help. Don't try to help him. And Trunks is like, I don't care. Obviously, he wouldn't care. That's his father getting beaten down there. Why should he care what Piccolo has to say at this moment? That's his father. Of course you want to help your father if he's getting beaten down. It's just us as humans. If you love your father, wouldn't you want to do the same thing? Of course you would. So Trunks does what any kid would do when he goes down to help his father. And Goten goes to help out his friend. And Piccolo tries to stop him, but I mean, it's just to no avail. Piccolo can't do it. Especially when Goten says, well, if it were Gohan, you'd let him go, wouldn't you? And Piccolo just freezes like, oh! And he just lets Goten go. And he is trying his darndest to keep them from fighting, but it's just to no avail. He really just cannot keep them from fighting, especially when Goten and Trunks are probably stronger than he is. So basically they go down to help Vegeta, and Trunks is able to kick Majin Buu out of the way, and Vegeta is helped out by Goten and Trunks. They start to roll him out of the they start to roll him out of the pink fat. And Babidi is just like, oh my gosh, he got kicked away, and Piccolo shows up behind him. And Piccolo and Babidi have this little brief conversation, this brief skirmish, and Piccolo basically chops Babidi in half and kills him. Oh, he's dead. I can't believe it. I mean, he was just the villain that put all of this into motion. It's weird because I didn't think Babidi would go this soon, actually, because Babidi needs to be there to control Majin Buu, as he said, just in case anybody, if he acts up, he's the only one who can seal him. But Piccolo points out that it's not going to matter because he's just going to let Majin Buu run rampant, and he probably won't seal him back up. That's what he's thinking. But to me, I think that that's bad because Piccolo has, rather than help, he's hurt. humanity's chances, because Babidi could benefit them, as Supreme Kai said in a previous episode, where he said that if Babidi loses control, he'll seal him back up, and that's when they can strike again. So that would have been the perfect opportunity, but Piccolo ruins this. So, I don't know, whatever, we'll have to wait till next episode to see what happens with Majin Buu. And we see that Trunks and Goten have freed Vegeta, and he's asking where Majin Buu is, and he gets up to find out that Majin Buu is in fact coming back to the battlefield, unharmed from Trunks' attack. Obviously, he's no match for Vegeta, as we're about to see. So, we see that Vegeta is saying, Trunks, I've never held you before as a kid. Maybe once or twice, but not much at all. Come here, son, I want to hug you now. And it's obvious what he's really doing, but it's like, what is Trunks gonna say? Like, he doesn't know what to say. And Vegeta's trying to tell him to take care of his mother, and Trunks is like, you can do that, can't you, Dad? What's wrong? And he hugs him and he says, take care, Trunks. And he chops him out. And Goten is horrified. He's like, that's your son. How dare you do that to him? Why did you hit him? Why did you hurt him like that? And he punches him. Vegeta punches Goten and knocks him out. And Piccolo witnesses this, and he comes down to talk to Vegeta, and they share some dialogue, some very important dialogue. And Vegeta and Piccolo are talking, and he says, you need to take them out of here. I gotta handle Majin Buu. And Piccolo's like, you know you'll die, don't you? And Vegeta doesn't respond to that. He says, tell me something. Will I meet Kakarot in the other world? And Vegeta is told by Piccolo, I'm not going to mince words with you, Vegeta. The time for that is over. No, you won't. You've killed too many innocent people, and basically you're going to go to a place where your soul will be banished to a place quite different from Goku's. There your soul will be purified and reincarnated. You'll basically lose your existence. And Vegeta stares right ahead, and he says, okay, that'll be all. Hurry, get out of here. And this is something that is just crazy for Vegeta's character development. Because we see that Vegeta has been influenced by, the same way Piccolo was, but in a much more profound sense, the power of love. Vegeta has actually found something to fight for. He's found something that he loves so much that he's never had, that he's willing to lay down his entire existence, not just his life. Because in Dragon Ball, there's an afterlife where your life will continue if you have done good, or even if you have done bad. You will go to hell or heaven, whichever one. But Vegeta, he's done so many heinous crimes that he's going to go to a place where he will cease to exist. His soul will be reincarnated in a new form. He will no longer be a Saiyan. He will be an entirely different being. That to me seems even worse than death, because even if you're in hell, you maintain yourself. If you cease to exist, your existence is gone. You do not exist. I mean, I don't see which is better, death or non-existence. Either one is bad, but at least in Death in the Dragon Ball world, we see that you maintain your own individuality, and you maintain your body, your soul, something. But in non-existence, you can't maintain any of that, because you will no longer exist. You will be reincarnated. So Vegeta has made the choice to basically sacrifice his own existence for Goten, Trunks, Bulma, and Goku. It's such a profound step in his development, because Vegeta up until this time has been completely selfish, and for good reason. He's been enslaved by a tyrannical galactic overlord who killed his entire family So not only did he lose everything that was important to him, he lost his entire race. I mean, wouldn't you be hesitant to get to know somebody? Wouldn't you have a defensive wall? I mean, Vegeta was that way out of just pure defense. He didn't want to get close to anybody. That's why he initially bailed on Bulma when he had Trunks. He didn't want to confront the fact that he may be falling in love, that he may be forming a family. He didn't want to confront that fact. That's why he did what he did when he transformed into Majin Vegeta. He didn't want to confront the fact that love had changed him into something different. He felt that he had a responsibility. He still felt that he had a responsibility, but he also had fallen in love with his family, and he couldn't pick which one. And he chose he chose Majin Vegeta. He chose to try to gain power and become the Prince of Saiyans, the strongest Saiyan. But he knew that that wasn't what he really wanted. He really wanted to be with his family. He wanted to be with the people he loved. That's what he really wanted. And after denying this fact, he'll no longer get that chance, which is sad, but it is also a very good thing for Vegeta because he's realized what he actually wanted and what he actually wants to fight for. That's very good in Vegeta's character development. And not only that, he's transitioned from being a pure villain to being an antagonist with an element of revenge to him. He was almost a revenge antagonist, kind of like Sasuke, but the people he wanted revenge against were the people he was fighting for. Then he became an anti-hero, and then he became a villain again, and now he's almost full-fledged hero. He's gained virtue, he's gained honor, he's gained selflessness. I mean, Vegeta has transitioned from all of those roles so seamlessly, and it's just absolutely great for his character development. It really does cement him as the best character in Dragon Ball Z. It really just bar none. I don't think anybody can really argue that. Like, he has gone through the most development, and he has the best foundation as a character. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing, and that was showcased beautifully in this episode. And not only that, the sacrifice, the way he looks at Majin Buu and stares death, well, not death, his basically, whatever you want to call it, something that's about to wipe out his whole existence, and he's doing it of his own free will. He's taking his existence into his own hands and choosing to basically cease to exist for the people he loves. That's powerful. I don't know how to explain that any better, but that's so powerful. To cease to exist for the people you love consciously, to choose to cease to exist for the people that you love. That's just so powerful. And we see also that he's just staring that right in the face. And he says, for Bulma, for Trunks, and yes, even you, Kakarot. And he blows himself up. And Krillin is trying to, as they're flying away, before he does this, Krillin is saying to Piccolo, shouldn't we help him? Shouldn't we try to get him out of there? He's going to die. And Piccolo's like, no, this is the first time Vegeta's fought for anything other than himself. And it's just something that Piccolo, I think, also respected. That was Vegeta's choice to do that. And he had to respect that choice. And that was just very powerful. I think that was a really powerful moment in Dragon Ball Z. This moment was a very powerful moment. Vegeta's sacrifice. And it just really, it really showcased Akira Toriyama, whatever he has as a writer. He's a person who does not plan things out, obviously. He comes up with things pretty much on the spot. But when he does things right, he does things right. And this was something done right. And it was absolutely beautiful. And especially the animation during his sacrifice. I mean, like, God, it was just so beautiful. And that's where the episode ends off. Now, This week's episode was an absolutely beautiful episode. I can't stress that enough. It was absolutely beautiful. I enjoyed the animation. I enjoyed the character development. I enjoyed the dialogue, especially between Piccolo and Vegeta and Trunks. His goodbye to Trunks. And I liked his inner monologue at the end when he did basically his suicide bomb. So that was pretty much the end of this episode. 10 out of 10 episode. The best in the Buu saga by far. And that was pretty much it. Thank you guys again for watching. Like, comment, favorite, and subscribe if you want to. And peace. Have a great day.